Aloha, and how is it? Today, we're talking all about how your LinkedIn profile can create more opportunities for you in 2023. So, more on that in a minute. How was your Christmas holiday weekend? If you celebrate this time of year, I hope you had a wonderful time with your friends and family. We're actually not that big on family holiday traditions, and we're actually in the middle of a move from Oahu to Chicagoland, which is why there is no board behind me today. Our adult daughter also came for a visit, and it's been a lot of fun to reconnect with her after her last trip here just over a year ago. And we got to spend time with all of the kiddos together. So, really, really good time here. And now it is time for Mondays with Mindy. This is a weekly show at 3 p.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. 3 p.m. Eastern, get the correct time, 12 p.m. Pacific, where I talk about all things LinkedIn pipeline, promo, and profiles, what I call the three P's of LinkedIn. Have you checked out the latest episode of the Mango Effect podcast yet? This week's episode is all about how to approach the new year with new goals, whether that's with your business, your life, your career, your education, or your geographical location, like me. So while you're there, check out the other 47 episodes about creating a life you love, being a digital entrepreneur, figuring out how to live in rhythm with nature, learning to serve, doing life your way, and more. And I'm really excited about today's topic. If you have questions about LinkedIn that you want me to answer, be sure to like this post, whether you're watching live or from the replay, because this topic actually comes from a number of viewers, listeners who really wanted to know what they can do now to prepare for this next year. This week is kind of one of those weird in between weeks where we are all thinking about, okay, what's next? We also are kind of in between holidays. So it is the perfect time to start thinking about what you want to do in the year to come. So make sure if you have questions about LinkedIn and you're tuning in over the holiday, leave your questions below and I'll answer them either after the show or on a future episode of Mondays with Mindy. So, how can your LinkedIn profile actually create more opportunity for you in the new year? Have you ever wondered what the secret is to unlocking your next opportunity on LinkedIn? A lot of people do try to figure out, I don't know exactly what's next, but how can my LinkedIn profile help me? So maybe you're trying to get on some new boards this year. I work with a lot of board members, or you're trying to get more conversations with your ideal prospects. I also work with a lot of entrepreneurs who are always looking for new prospects, new clients, new customers. You could also be trying to become an influencer in the space. So maybe you're trying to scale your impact and share your message. Or maybe 2023 is the year that you will finally land your dream job or make that career pivot. No matter what your professional goals are for 2023, each of them hinges on how you present yourself on your LinkedIn profile. You want to think of your profile as the face of your personal brand or your business on LinkedIn. When it's not aligned with your professional goals or your business objectives, you know it's high time for a refresh. And if you overlook your profile, you are going to start losing credibility. You may miss business opportunities. You could also deter potential prospects, or you might never get noticed because you simply cannot be found on LinkedIn. So, who else is ready to troubleshoot the most common trouble spots on the LinkedIn profile? I am. I am really excited about this. I'm actually going to put myself in the hot seat for today's session because my LinkedIn profile is actually a little bit overdue, and we're going to pinpoint exactly where I could improve my own profile today. So, aloha for those who don't know me. My name is Mindy Rosser. I'm the founder of Mindi Roster Marketing, and I have a group program called the LinkedIn Accelerator for those who want to go from 0 to 60 on LinkedIn with their profile and their network. I will actually share the link at the end if you're interested and want to get on the January waitlist. We are kicking off. Again, January is like next week, so right around the corner. I help superstars who feel they are the best kept secret in their industry to become that go to visible expert in their niche so they can get that next opportunity, grow their business, and scale their impact on LinkedIn. In this live, we are going to talk about why your LinkedIn profile is causing you to miss new business opportunities and failing to attract your ideal prospects, but how you can optimize some very important sections on your profile so you can be more profitable in 2023. Who wants to be more profitable? Of course, we all do. So, are you ready? Let's do this. Reminder to go ahead and like this post, whether you're live or watching from the replay, to give it some social love. So, a huge mistake that many of us make is that we think once we've updated our profile, we're done. There's no need to revisit the profile. We did all the hard work. We can just kind of sit back on our laurels and expect the opportunities to roll in. Some expert gave us a few formulas that we use to update our LinkedIn profile. That expert may as well have been me or somebody else. And we might have used those formulas to fix up some sections, maybe months or years ago, and we haven't thought about our LinkedIn profile ever since. Or maybe we made a note on our someday maybe list to refresh our profile, but we just haven't gotten around to it because there are other priorities that seem more urgent or like they'll actually make us revenue faster. And how thrilling is it really to tell a colleague that you're going to refresh your LinkedIn profile this next quarter? Like, that's not the most exciting thing to say. You'll probably get a look that says it's about as exciting as cleaning out your microwave, as opposed to telling one of them, guess what? I'm going to do this 30 TikToks and 30 days challenge, and maybe I'll go viral. Yeah, they'll probably whip out their phone and show you some of their favorites. So you know exactly what I mean, especially if you are a visionary entrepreneur or maybe you're an intrapreneur type who likes to always be thinking about the next big thing. Wasn't LinkedIn like the next big thing about 10 years ago? Well, LinkedIn just doesn't have that oh shiny feel to it anymore, but you know what it does have? The staying power of a proven social media platform where all of today's B2B companies, career professionals, and influential experts continue to make an impact and generate real business revenue. On LinkedIn, you don't have to spend hours a week choreographing reels. You don't have to dance to the tune of Island Boy with your own lyrics. You don't have to come up with a 3D GIF or monitoring trends that change faster than you can swipe. On LinkedIn, it's actually where professionals go to have real conversations about doing real business together and closing real 6 or 7 figure deals. And it happens all the time with those business leaders who actually invest in how their LinkedIn profile looks and pay very close attention to the details that matter. So there's no more getting caught up in the social media hype. It's really back to the LinkedIn business basics. So when it comes to putting your best self forward, no longer are we handing out business cards at those real in-person events, seminars, and workshops. Oh yeah, remember those? Remember when we actually used to like create business cards and there were all kinds of clever strategies to like make them an interesting texture. And then it was really cool to like actually put a QR code on them. And nobody does that anymore. So whoever had the most memorable, I can never say that word, business card or clever way to get your business card won. But nowadays people look you up on LinkedIn first and foremost. I don't like business cards. Please don't give them to me. It's more paper that we shouldn't be wasting. So, if what people are finding on LinkedIn does not match their perception of you from discovering you via a piece of content, maybe they heard you on a podcast, maybe there's an offer you're selling, or maybe they were referred to you from a colleague, you've already lost them. If they don't like what they see on your profile, they're gone, poof, just like that. But when they can easily find you, in less than 60 seconds, they can know what you're all about and then make a determination that they want to start to get to know, like, and trust you. We've heard of the know, like, and trust factor. You're in. You're in. It's really that simple. Your LinkedIn profile can do all of that hard work for you, but you have to realize the power of your LinkedIn profile. In many industries and professions, your LinkedIn profile is even more important than a website. So why is it that we'll shell out $10,000 on a stagnant website to some branding firm and designer that requires constant SEO work and Google Analytics attention, blah, blah, blah. But we won't spend one single afternoon updating our LinkedIn profiles. Why is that? Because we don't understand the power of LinkedIn, or we just don't know. Like sometimes we just don't know what we don't know. So unless your website is your first and last name, when people look you up, they are more likely to see your LinkedIn profile. Then they will use your profile as a springboard to check out your website if they're interested. So people often start on LinkedIn, start there. They like what they see, then they'll go check out your website. Maybe they won't even look at your website. They might just message you. So just understand how people are finding you. We used to think it was, from the website and then they would go check out all your socials, maybe look you up on LinkedIn, but it's the reverse now. So if you are serious about your business, if the future of your career matters to you, if you don't want to ever worry about losing your job, if you want to build a business that never runs out of new prospects or opportunities, your LinkedIn profile is where it all begins. So I usually don't get this personal with my own branding, but I wholeheartedly admit that my LinkedIn profile is in need of a bit of a refresh. And I'm actually going to share my screen and talk you through what I think could be better because I think it would be helpful for many of you. I'm actually going to be going through the next cohort of the LinkedIn Accelerator program in January. along with my group members because I actually need to practice what I preach or teach or preach, whatever you want to say. You can join the next cohort too if you want to see me get real with my own profile as well. So the link to that will be at the end of this. But whenever I work with a new client or program member on their LinkedIn profile, I always start with a LinkedIn profile review to go through my first impressions and areas of most improvement. So let's actually take a look at my profile now. Take a drink here. We're going to pay attention to four particular sections. I will recap them at the end too, so don't worry about that. At the very end, I will go through the four most important sections and tell you what should be in them. But first, we're just going to take a look at my profile here. All right, I'm tiny and you can see my profile. All right, so on the LinkedIn profile, you really want to pay attention to this header image. I've used this same header for a long time, for years. So for me, I feel like this header really needs to be updated. So it's something that I'm looking at with my designer. I am not that great in Canva, but Canva is a really great tool if you are trying to figure out a header image. I think I actually want to have something that's a little bit more in real life showing up here versus a graphic. I like my headshot. I think it's fine. I've recently updated it, so I'm not going to change that. I really like my headline still. So kind of like reading through my headline, I recently updated this because it was a little bit out of alignment, but it has a lot of good keywords. So social selling, strategist is a good keyword for me. The mango way, not so much a keyword, but it does speak to my brand. Effective LinkedIn marketing is a good keyword. Thought leadership, also a good keyword. And forward thinking orgs, not so much, but it does speak to my audience. And then kind of scrolling down a little bit more here, you can see my different hashtags here. So these are the 5 main things that I talk about. So I'm still happy with those. If you click on my contact info, I like what's here too. You can see all of my contact info if you want to reach out to me directly or get something of mine, like visit my blog, my podcast, or get a download, something like that. Then you can also see, I love this call to action. I get a number of people clicking this and opting in on the daily. So for me, this is really, really good. If you don't know how to add this, really simple. Just click on that little pencil icon, go to the bottom, and boom, you can add your link and link text. Highly recommend that you use that. So I'm still happy with that. Kind of scrolling on down here. With the featured section, I like to keep this fresh. I update it just about every week. So this is something that I do play with on the regular. And then also kind of looking at the about section here. I actually did review this before this video and kind of looked at what I like here and what I don't like. I think the opening could be a little stronger. I originally liked this idea of let's start having great conversations with the people that matter. That's why we're here, right? So just trying to get people to think about why we are on LinkedIn. We are here to connect with each other. But I feel like there's some wordsmithing here that would be in a little bit more of an alignment and also a little bit more interesting than what I have. So that's something I'm looking at changing. I kind of like these questions here. I think that's good. There also are a good number of keywords kind of woven into my profile. Like if you actually looked at my profile and then you're like, oh, what keywords is she using? You'll see a lot of them kind of woven into this section. That's intentional. And then kind of talking about the types of people that I work with and also working with large corporations to small businesses to startups and what that gamut looks like. And then also what I'm passionate about and then inviting people to connect. So if you're looking for a format to follow, this is a good one. I use this for a lot of my clients, not just for my own profile, but it's a good way to kind of lay out your profile and break it into small chunks so people can easily scan it. All right, so then let's look at my experience. So some things here need to be updated. Excuse me, something going on with my throat. Okay, so in this section here, I feel like this is definitely outdated. I wrote this originally like 3 years ago and it was good. And then I just kind of tweaked it a little bit here and there, but it's not strong. It's definitely not compelling. I don't think most people are going to read it. So this is something that I'm definitely going to play with. I like the skills that I have here. Also with the LinkedIn Accelerator launching soon, I'm going to update the media. So you see I have like the 90-minute LinkedIn profile. I'm going to put the LinkedIn Accelerator info here so people can actually see it on my profile and associate it. I switch that out all the time. And then you will see in this section here, I have specialist trainer, program creator, educator. So this also really cool tip here. You can actually put like images or logos of places that you have spoken. I recently presented at Amy Porterfield's event, so I made sure to get a screenshot and upload it, and she gave permission, so it was all good. And so this kind of stuff really brings the profile to life. So I do try to keep this pretty updated and kind of cycle in and cycle out different logos based on who I have spoken with recently. Then you'll see my podcast is here. And then my old work histories. I don't usually play with my old work experiences because I don't feel like it's that beneficial. Then, kind of looking at the education section, I'm actually going back to school, which is one of the reasons that we're moving, probably the main reason, if I'm being honest. And so that actually is added to my education section here. And then I also still have the Alt MBA. So this may change a little bit. That's the major I'm starting with, but that may change. So then looking at the licenses certifications, this I feel like is also a little bit outdated. There are some things that I got like 4 years, let's see, more than 4 years ago. So this like 6 years ago, 5 years ago. So really looking at this section and making sure that it's up to date and just get rid of the stuff that doesn't need to be there. Volunteering, I feel happy with. I really like what's here. There's nothing else that I would add. Skills, I'm happy with as well. They're all in the right order. I've got good endorsements. Things are all added on my profile in the right places. Recommendations, I'm not going to mess with those. Another drink. And then looking at publications, I've recently updated these. Again, this is a really good spot if you have a podcast, if you have a book, if you have a newsletter, if you have a website, if you have a blog, you can actually add it all under the publications and then put the most important three at the very beginning because the rest people are going to have to click over to see, and most people never do that. So that's a good thing to look at. Courses, I need to update this as well. I've taken some new courses that are not here. Projects, also a few projects that I could add here to this section, I probably will do. Honors and awards, nothing there. Organizations, that's all pretty much up to date as well. So you can see there's always room for improvement when you are looking at your LinkedIn profile. And no matter if this is what you do, like this is what I do, and this is what I do for others, there's always something that could be a little bit better. In a nutshell, there are 4 sections on your profile that you really want to get right. Now, I showed you a lot of section on my profile, but the first one that is the most important is your LinkedIn headline. So your LinkedIn headline, this section must get across who you are, whom you help, how you help them, and the results that you generate. So you have 220 characters to work with in this section. You can get in a good number of keywords along with getting across your secret sauce. So kind of like what makes you different from other people in the industry. Do you work with a special market? Do you have a special system? Have you trademarked a program? Do you, have you copyrighted something? Those types of things are really, really good to put in that headline area. Basically, who you are, who you help, how you help them, and the results you generate. And then try to spice it up a little bit just so you have some good keywords in there, but also grab people's attention. You can add emoji in that section as well. Just I would stick to 1, maybe 2, depending on your audience. Number 2, your LinkedIn header section. So this is that whole top section, but in particular, the LinkedIn header is that image where I said immediately, this has been used for like many years and I need to switch it out. It had that graphic that said Master LinkedIn Now. You really want your personal brand to come across visually in this section so they can get you within a 2-second glance at this section. So you want to have a clear headshot. You want a really good header image and then a quick look at your LinkedIn creator mode hashtags. People can learn a lot about you very quickly. So they don't even have to scan all the way down your profile and look at everything. If you can give them a really good visual and then just kind of tie it all together so it feels very coherent, people are going to love it. And it's going to make people feel like connecting with you and feel that they can trust you because you're not making them guess. You're pulling it all together for them, making it very, very simple. Number 3, your LinkedIn about. So that is that big long section where I'm like, oh, change this, change the opening, maybe play with some stuff in the middle. So you want to start your about with an interesting 2 to 3 lines that speak to your target audience's problems and how you can actually solve them. Or you want to ask a question that you answer for people all the time. So if there's a question, you're like, oh, everybody I work with, everybody I collaborate with, they always ask this question. It's kind of repetitive, but I'm really good at it. What is that question? If you want to be a little bit more trite, what is the question that keeps them up at night? A lot of marketers use that term. So this is to get people to click to read your entire about section. So you really want to make those first few lines very, very enticing. The goal of this section is to showcase your subject matter expertise and how you are able to translate that expertise into helping your target audience. So you have 2,600 characters to work with, including spaces. Use them all and pack this section full of your most important keywords. So make sure to really beef up this section. A lot of people feel intimidated because it's so many different lines and sections. Find somebody that you like. Like if you found somebody's profile that you're like, oh, I love their about section, use their section and just you can almost make your own template just by kind of like, oh, they talked about this in the first paragraph. All right, I'll write something similar. They talked about this in the second paragraph. Okay, I'll write something similar. Use my profile if you want. But just make sure to have a good format, make sure it's easy for people to scan and has all the right keywords. All right. And then section number 4, your LinkedIn experiences. So your experiences add that layer of credibility to your LinkedIn headline and the story you told in the about section. So you don't need to make these too wordy. High level overviews, but make sure they're a little more interesting. Like I was nitpicking with mine. I didn't feel like they were interesting enough, especially my most current ones. And I need to spend some time thinking about my audience, thinking about how I help them, and really play with the verbiage there. So focus on the high level overview of each role to ensure people can quickly scan this section to understand what you're doing and how all of your prior roles led to where you are today. Okay. So you don't want to add old or irrelevant work experiences here if you can help it. Focus on the here and now. Like I have very early work experiences that are not on my profile because they are just not relevant to my business. Will I add them back at some point? Probably not, because working at Petco was not that exciting. I also did like a fitness trainer inside a retirement village, which it doesn't really matter to the people that I'm connected with on LinkedIn. So I'm probably not going to add those experiences. So think about what's relevant now, creating more opportunity for yourself as the go to expert in your niche. All begins with your LinkedIn profile. So focus on addressing these 4 sections before you go into all the other extras that will make your profile shine. My profile has a lot on it, and mine is not even the most robust. I work on other people's profiles who have a lot more going on than mine. So first of all, remember, nail your LinkedIn headline. That's number 1. Number 2, pull together your branding in that header area. So it's very compelling and people are like, oh, okay, you're kind of put together here. This all looks like it matches. Then you want to tell a great story in the about section. That's number 3. And then you want to match your experiences to the story that you told in the about section. So that's number 4. All right, so headline, header area, about section, and experiences. That is the meat of the LinkedIn profile. So what additional questions do you have about optimizing your profile on LinkedIn? Leave them below in the comments or shoot me a private message. I'm happy to answer them. I love nerding out on LinkedIn profiles. It is what I do. So if you have questions, please don't hesitate, reach out, and I'm happy to answer them. And if you are looking for that extra edge to get you started on the right path with LinkedIn to make 2023 your best year yet, get on the wait list for the next cohort of the LinkedIn Accelerator. We are kicking off at the beginning of 2023. And this program is tailored to take you through all of the sections on your LinkedIn profile. So everything we covered today, and then all the extras that I was showing you on my profile, we covered them all. So we cover it all in just 5 days flat. So one week and you're off to the LinkedIn races. If you're interested, here's a link to get on the wait list and find out a few more details. You'll also see some other accelerators talking about their experience so you can learn a little bit more about the program itself. And I will see you next year on Mondays with Mindy. I can't believe it. It's already the end of 2022. So feel free to leave questions or comments below, and my inbox is open if you want to message me directly. I'll see you next year. Bye.